can work it out. Giving in is oh so hard when love is at stake. Where there's a will, there's a way. Now if we only knew how. Learning to love, learning to laugh and fear, learning to fight through these years that bring us closer together. Learning to love, learning the first golden rule, knowing that anything is possible. 'Cause nothing's gonna keep us from, nothing's gonna keep us from learning the ropes.
Sorry. Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome back to Learning the Ropes. I'm XLJ, the OG, joined by my partner in crime, my brother from another mother who was in Regina, originally from parts unknown. Now, I don't know, somewhere transiting a flight in Spirit Airlines or something. Mr. B. Roll.
You want to know where I am? I'm still at the airport waiting on Kota Ibushi.
yeah. Where are you? Like, you're supposed to be here. But what's up, Irish? How you doing, brother? And thank you all for joining us tonight here on Learning the Ropes. We've got another action-packed, fun-filled episode. But as always, we got to kick it off right with a little bit of a Plug-a-palooza. Isn't that right, Mr. B-Roll?
Of course, and I'm still working on sharing out the link to all the beautiful people out there in the world.
Beautiful people, the beautiful people. Yes, indeed. But let's talk about Cold TV. Let's talk about all we got cooking this week here on Cold TV. Of course, you can catch a replay of Pro Wrestling 60, where we talk about everything that happened in the world of professional wrestling in 60 minutes. That's available now. And hey, looking ahead, tomorrow night, we will be coming to you with our Impact Wrestling Slammiversary prediction show. That'll be airing 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 Pacific, here on Cold TV. So you're going to want to check that out. It was a blast. We had a great show. Joining us was Hambone, as well as the Ginger Ninja himself, Jaxbo. So we kind of give you our insights, our input on this weekend's Slammiversary. And hey, a little teaser of things to come, if you will. Next week, we're going to have brand new episodes of The Hunt, and I'm your Huckleberry coming to you here on Cold TV, as well as, of course, the new PW60. And next week's Learning the Ropes B-Roll, we're going for the history of Impact to the history of something else, the history of SummerSlam. We're going to kick that off. Yeah, because SummerSlam's right around the corner, so we're going to have not one, not two, but 3 episodes dedicated to the history of SummerSlam. We're going to kick that off all next week. Now, Mr. B-Roll.
Hold on. Yeah. I have something. This is very Plug-a-palooza worthy. For the very first time ever, I shared the link to Threads. Yeah, that's right.
Get in on that thread.
We're on Threads.
That's right.
Or at least Mr. B-Roll is.
Well, I'm going to be. It's been a busy week. Let's just put that. And I
don't know how it works.
Oh, we'll figure it out.
But
it's a work in progress. Also, we got to talk about some of that sweet, sweet merch we got. You can get your Learning the Ropes shirts. You can get Cold TV shirts, hats, chubby shirts, and so much more. Just head on over to sweetdollfacecreations.bigcardell.com where you can get all of your merch. And you can get some of your other favorite Wrestle Talk content creators merch. You can see it there at the bottom of the screen. Hit it up. They got some good stuff. But as you all know, last week we were talking Impact Wrestling, and this week we're going to conclude that discussion. And joining us again, let's bring him on in here, Mr. B-Roll. We've got the Wrestle Talk drip god himself, one Hambone. How you doing, brother?
What's going on, you fucking marks? I'm excited to spend yet another night with you two beautiful hunks of beef.
Yes, we are just as excited as you. I'm hiding my nipples so you can't see them. I don't want to, we're just starting, that's later. That's for much. So, and I can't think of a better way to follow that. Let's bring in our other friend, the one MJDuplessis. How you doing, brother?
What up, y'all? How y'all doing?
Good to have you. And also, we got another guest with us tonight. and he was in on the chat a lot last week and just loves him some Impact Wrestling. You okay over there, B-Roll? You look like you
I'm
look like
feeling
you
the
had a
heat.
little
I feel the
heat
heat.
there.
You know what? I think I ate something a little bit spicy.
Oh, there he is. Spicy Guac. What's up, brother?
What is up? And I got the little spicy with me too.
Oh, little
Aw.
spicy. Howdy.
Hello, little spicy. No.
I'm on the internets, interwebs, if you will. Well, gentlemen, this is going to be a fun-filled, action-packed show. Last week, man, we had so much ground to cover, and we were talking about the greatness of Impact Wrestling, but I do feel like we're going to pick off where we left off, and, well, we got to get out the dark years of Impact. We're talking the Dixie.
Well, we do promise, though, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, though.
There is.
There will be a happy ending.
There is a happy ending, that's right. But with every story, there comes some downfall. Jesus, my God, from the years 2013 to 2016, it was bad. First and foremost, gentlemen, let me ask you this. One, were you watching Impact from 2013 to 2016? And two, were you shocked they're still in business after those years?
I'm gonna say hard.
Despite Dixie Carter, we got EC3 out of that, which I feel like EC3 really carried the company through those years. So I was still entertained. But yeah, I would say that I am surprised that they survived these years.
I'm very surprised. I was watching, and I'm very surprised.
Yeah, Spicy, what about you, brother?
It was a hard every other month. Maybe the pay-per-views, but there's a few things going on during those years that made me not want to keep up religiously.
Yeah, dude, I'm right there with you. I stopped watching. Well, at the time, for me personally, I had stopped watching wrestling completely, really. But like when I got back into wrestling, you know, it was right around this time frame, and I was just like, wow, they're still going with that. But the thing of it is, it's just like, I think the biggest downfall of this was, where the hell do you watch them at? Because once they lost the Spike TV deal, it was just like they bounced around from network to network. They were on like, I mean, who honestly had a subscription to Discovery America? Come on.
Yeah.
Like, did you even know? Did anybody even know what the hell Discovery America? Yeah, who had Pop? Like, did anybody even have Discovery America? Did you realize that was in your cable package?
I did.
Did you? Okay.
Because there was a few cooking shows on Discovery America that I watched.
I had Discovery America, so I was able to watch then, but not on Pop.
Yeah, I had no idea about Pop. I did not. I was not watching then. I don't.
Not that Pop, buddy.
What about Pop?
Pop TV. Well, you are showing you're from the Midwest, my friend.
Yes, I am, buddy, because it's Pop. It ain't soda. It's Pop.
That's right.
Oh, shit. But yeah, I just, like I say, I was just like, man, if they had better distribution, like, I mean, when they were on Spike, at least they had something, you know. But like, there's just with the ratings dwindling. I mean, and then look at all the multitude of departures that they had around this time frame. And I mean, me personally, I think one of the biggest ones is one of the mainstays in TNA wrestling was AJ Styles leaving. And if you think back to that time frame when he left, it seemed like he may stick around because he was the TNA champion. But once AJ left, I felt like that was it, because I mean, there was not really any of the, I mean, you still had Abyss was there, of course.
Yeah.
And I believe EY was still there. And Bobby stuck around for a little bit until he went to NXT.
And
but,
Joe was there for a bit too.
Yeah, Joe was there for a bit too. This is true. But I just felt, to me, just like,
I think somebody who had a pretty decent run during this time that nobody really talks about, Bennett, as well.
Oh, Mike Bennett?
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah. I mean, there are some good, there is definitely.
Also, again, I don't know what's going on, but my audio is definitely off. Because are reacting like a couple seconds after I'm talking. So again, I don't know what's really happening. It was fine before we jumped on here, but I'm trying not to cut people off, but it's not really happening.
It's all good, dude. We still love you, brother.
We love you anyway.
But no, you bring up a good point. Like, I mean, there were several
Thanks,
stars.
guys.
Yes, there were several stars that had like a pretty solid run in these years. I think the first we got to talk about. You mentioned him earlier. The star of this era, the guy who kept the doors open, Ethan Carter III, EC3. By far, the best run of his career was in this era of TNA wrestling. Like, I love the build-up for him, too. They're bringing him in as Dixie's nephew, him coming out. And dare I say, he had some of the best entrance music in all of TNA. I loved EC3's intro, dude. Loved it so damn much.
And we bring up EC3. I think what made the EC3 character is him having a little punching bag like Spud.
Yes, yeah, Rockstar Spud.
Like him and Spud work so well together.
Oh yeah, like yin and yang, man. And I think that's something else you got to talk about this era too. Was a lot and I think that's a big part of the reason they kind of stayed alive. Although, like here in the States, they weren't doing as hot. I mean, TNA was still performing pretty well over in Europe and overseas. And man, the European, look at all the European guys that kind of came through this time frame as well. We mentioned Rockstar Spud. What about one of my personal favorites? A little bit of Grado. I loved Grado. I loved Grado in ICW.
I forget that Grado was an Impact.
He was, dude.
So great. I fucking love Grado.
Yeah, the only thing that was missing was Madonna's Like a Prayer, man. But other than that, it was Grado, baby. But man, I loved seeing. Well, remember too, they had the storyline where Grado and Chelsea Green got married, because Chelsea Green's somebody too who really had an awesome run in TNA around this time frame as well. That whole stuff with
this is the era where Chelsea Green blocked me on Twitter.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yes. Hambone, I don't know if you've told that story here on Learning the Ropes. Can we get that story, my friend?
Yes, please.
So that was during this whole era where she was doing, she had been left at the altar, and she had gone crazy. She was doing the whole hot mess thing. And there was a segment done where she married the Knockouts title belt. And it was one of the worst segments I've ever seen in my life. So I said something about it on Twitter, and she got very offended by it, even though I tried to explain to her that I thought that she was talented and it had nothing to do with her. It was just a bad segment and a bad idea. And she just didn't take my word for it. And she just went ahead and blocked me. So, yeah.
Oh, Chelsea.
Shame.
Shame.
I think another guy, even though he is definitely, and for good reason, one of the most hated people in pro wrestling now, that had a great run during this era, A-Double. Austin Aries.
Oh, Austin Aries. Yeah, that's true too, man. And that's something I want to get into as well, because I mean, Austin Aries is a guy we really didn't mention last week who, I mean, this is the guy who came up with Option C, right? And I'll never forget when he cashed that in and defeated Bobby Roode. Oh man, that was a moment at Destination X. I believe it was.
This was the era of the Wolves too, right? I feel like they were carrying the tag team division at this time.
They were
multiple-time champions in TNA wrestling as the tag champs. Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards. Yeah, they were definitely the top 10. Well, I mean, you could argue Motor City Machine Guns, but I mean, those guys, back and forth between those two great teams. Another one in this era, I think you got to mention as far as big names, Bobby Lashley had a pretty good run in TNA during this time as well.
And we saw Lambert as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's the first time you got introduced to Dan Lambert in the wrestling world.
And then another guy who got a reappearance in the pro wrestling.
So far as to say that Bobby Lashley's Impact run is what brought him back to WWE so that he could be a champion. in the future.
Fact.
I don't feel like Bobby Lashley would have gotten that second run in WWE without his Impact run.
Not at all.
1000% agreed.
You also got the reemergence of MVP in the States. After his excursion in Japan.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, yeah, let's talk about him. Yeah, Eli Drake, of course,
Dummy.
LA Knight.
Yeah.
Dummy. Yeah.
For a guy who got introduced in the dumbest of ways to the Impact Wrestling fans as just one of Drew Galloway's like buddies.
Yeah.
And he made it something and became
he was the whitest of white meat baby face boring dudes basically being brought in the Rising, and then after he broke away, that's when we got Eli Drake.
Yes.
The real Eli Drake.
Yeah, and it's a crazy to think how like when he was brought in was just as like, you know, I don't want to say enhancement talent, but just like, let's say like a mid-card guy at best, and just like he took the ball and ran with it, and look where his career is now, you know. But I think that's the fascinating thing about this is like, if eyes were really on the product, like, you know, I think more people would have like not really balked at these years as like, who fucking cares? Why is Impact still around? And been like, oh yeah, Impact's still going. Hell yeah, this is a healthy alternative. Because there was a lot of great guys that come through there. I
don't necessarily think that these years were bad as much as, you know, we've talked before about other companies. Impact was going through a transitional period here. I think there were a lot of bright spots. There wasn't necessarily bad, just, you know, they had lost a couple stars. They were trying to build up new people. And on top of that, they were on a bunch of network people couldn't find. So I don't really think that these years were bad years. They were just difficult years.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way of putting it. You know, another guy we got to mention who, you know, finally climbed the top and became the TNA World Champion during this time. And he very well may be the next TNA or Impact Champion this Saturday night. Nick Aldis, you know, really broke out during this time frame as well.
And if you want to see who XOJ, myself, and Hambone think, if he's going to do it or not, tune in tomorrow night at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Cheap plug.
So fucking professional.
The plug master. But man, I'm telling you, like, I loved like when Aldis like won the belt there. Like, I felt like it was kind of short lived. But I mean, he did get some massive wins. Like hell, like if I remember correctly, I believe not only did he beat Sting tapped out to Aldis, right? And I think Aldis is like one of the few guys to do that in Sting's illustrious career.
Yeah,
and then also
I feel like someone brought up that stat the other day.
Yeah, I think in prepping for this main event Saturday, I think that was brought up. But like I say, they had multiple departures, but also you had a lot of gain during this time frame as well. You mentioned the guy earlier. Let's talk about him. Let's talk about Mike Bennett and the run he had in TNA. Him and Maria.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the whole Miracle gimmick. I honestly think it's the best work that Mike Bennett's ever done. And I thought that he was going to be world champion in TNA. They were really positioning him as if they were going to put him in that spot. They never did, but he was definitely always right up there with the main event guys at this time.
Yeah, I really was like that too. And I mean, gosh, the stuff he did in Ring of Honor with the Kingdom and stuff, that was fucking awesome as well, man. Yeah, I feel like Mike Bennett's career was on such like a great trajectory, and then like WWE happened, and I think Demons also happened in his life. But man, he's doing so much better now, though. So you know, it's good to see. I always love a good underdog story, man. And Mike Bennett has been through hell and back, but so he's such a super awesome, positive guy too. If you guys don't like follow him on like TikTok and Instagram and whatnot, just an awesome guy.
Oh, I didn't know he was on Whatnot. What's he sell?
You're a
Shut your mouth.
smart ass.
Shut your mouth. Shut your face.
Got
I think these years are where we got introduced to Rosemary as well.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the knockouts that really kind of took off. Yeah, Rosemary for sure.
You
Oh
have
my
the
gosh.
reemergence of Tara.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Tara come back, although there was some goofy stuff with
You had the
Tara.
dollhouse.
The dollhouse. I want to talk about the dollhouse. I fucking loved the dollhouse, man.
Sounds
And
freaky.
this is the first time we ever really got introduced, as far as I know, at least for me, the first time ever introduced to Mia Yim and Marty Bell. And I mean, look at
Marty Bell, yes, not Mia Yim to me.
Okay, where did you see? Was she out in your neck of the woods, or where?
No,
she
she was a manager for Combat Zone Wrestling early in her
Oh,
career.
okay, so she was in
And she
CCW.
actually managed a one Adam Cole.
Bye.
Oh, okay. I think I remember seeing this in a highlights or something of CCW. Didn't she take like a crazy bump through like a table through a cage or some shit? Okay.
She was the manager that took all the bumps for the cowardly heel that was Adam Cole.
Nice. Man, we're gonna have to do an episode on CCW one day.
I think Madison Rain is a good name to mention as well. You know, a lot of people almost kind of just look at her as the third beautiful person, but after the beautiful people broke up, she really broke out and had a couple years here where she was on top all the time as the Queen Bee. She had one of the best themes in TNA at the time, too.
She's a beauty queen. Oh my god, I fucking love
Which one of the American Wolves was she dating on TV?
Was it Davey? Maybe?
I don't remember that.
I don't remember. I honestly don't remember.
Because they turned heel.
I think it was Davey because like they turned Eddie into babyface, and that's another. Let's talk about that too, because you talk about like a great tag team, the Wolves, and then like they turned Eddie into super babyface. Fuck, Eddie won the Impact World Title, beat Bobby Lashley for it of all people.
Which they ended having a street fight to end that feud. I just found it on YouTube.
Yeah, which I mean, this is really like Eddie Edwards' emergence as like a single star too, and I mean now he's kind of referred to often as like the heart soul of Impact.
You know who debuted during these years? We got a reformed LAX, and we got Eddie Kingston.
Yeah. Santana, Ortiz, and Kingston.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's right. Then I love the rivalry they had with the OG LAX. You know,
with Conan,
Hernandez, and Conan. That was great.
I forgot that feud happened. I have to go back and watch that match.
Yeah, and I mean another guy. Let's talk about another guy who emerged out of this era as well. We're kind of going forward a little bit, but thumbs up, thumbs down. What we got to talk? Sami Callihan, man. God dang. I mean, shit. Remember when he was in NXT as Solomon Crow, and that was like dead to rights. But he gets to Impact. He's pissed off, and man, he made the best of his situation. It's still going strong today, man.
Yes.
And there was definitely a period where I would say Sami Callihan and OVE were carrying. Their feud with the LAX was great.
Yes.
Yeah, and his chase and run for the Impact World Title, we're going to get in that in a little bit too, man. That was fucking awesome. I love that.
And I would be, again, I don't mean to bring up the ones that always are, troublemakers, but Tessa Blanchard.
Oh, I want to talk about Tessa Blanchard, like, and it's probably going to be like a hot take, but like, I know the shit, like she didn't get along with fucking people. That's unfortunate. But I'm talking in the ring, man. Tessa Blanchard could be like one of the top, like, one of the top wrestlers going right now today. It's a fucking shame about all that locker room bullshit. Hopefully, she's put it best behind her. I mean, she's starting to get some more bookings, but I don't know. I hope that shit can be put behind her because she had a fucking amazing run in Impact.
Those matches she had with Sami Callihan.
Yes.
Them killing each other?
Yeah, that was insane. And you talk about being ahead of its time too, man. Like, I know other companies had done a lot of interpromotional matches, but fuck, let's face facts. This is the first time we're really seeing on like any type of like television that you can actually see on a weekly basis where you're really seeing a lot of interpromotional matches. Because fuck, like Tessa Blanchard would go on to win the Impact World Championship as well in a huge moment. I thought. But before we get too deep into that, there is a couple things I feel like we have to mention. And these are kind of some black eyes, if you will, during this time frame. But we got first and foremost, we got to talk about Mr. JEFF, returning. If you
No, this no.
Because let's don't. Well, and the big thing was too. Remember, he returned with Global Force Wrestling, and there was that whole fucked up conundrum where, like,
you guys already know that I don't accept any Jeff Jarrett slander.
Yeah.
But every time I'm on this fucking podcast, some Jeff Jarrett slander happens.
Yeah, but Hambone, the Global Force stuff,
Hey,
that was pretty rough, brother.
Yeah. And I just love that, like, his audio.
Listen, I said that these were difficult years, okay?
Introduce us to the guy that now you can shoot it to the moon.
Oh yeah, we got Cameron Grimes. And fuck, I can't. What was his name?
Trevor.
Trevor. Thank you.
It was funny
Trevor
though. Because,
Lee. I gotta be honest with you. I fucking hated Cameron Grimes in Impact or TNA. I just thought he just looked like a dirty backwoods dude, and I could just not get into him then. He just bored the shit out of me. He was just covered in hair.
What was his name?
Andrew Everett.
Yes, Andrew Everett.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Fuck, I forgot about that. Yeah, they were. But the Global Force thing, I will say this: there's only one good thing that came out of Global Force Wrestling, and that was the fact that they were able to get Wrestle Kingdom on pay-per-view in North America. That's the only good fucking thing that came out of it. And because of that, honestly, ironically enough, that's what got me back into wrestling.
We also got the reemergence of Chris Masters. That was a joke.
I was gonna say, I was like, I don't know how I feel about that, brother.
That was a joke.
Okay, I was gonna say, I thought you were, but I was like,
you know, wait. You know what we have to talk about during this time is not only did we have EC3, but we also had the greatest NWA champion of all time, Tyrus, was there too.
Shut up. I really now want to shut my laptop up.
Yeah. Oh my lord.
Remember?
Yes,
Remember? Okay. So this is another person we're going to talk about during these years is Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy came over. He's doing the whole, big money Matt gimmick, and then Tyrus is just walking around, just holding his kid. He was just his babysitter, basically.
King Maxwell. Yes.
I forgot about the big money Matt gimmick.
But you're right. Matt Hardy.
He was world champion as Big Money Matt.
Yeah, that was really his first real world championship as far as in a in a company. I'm not counting the fucking ECW or the ECW WWE title. That doesn't count. But this.
But we got to talk about the best Matt Hardy TNA gimmick, which was cold-blooded Matt Hardy.
Oh, okay.
They're going to go broken there.
Oh, no.
I thought we were going.
That was a
what
joke.
Do you make of all the? Okay. That's another one that went over my head. See, these TNA years, these Impact years we're talking about, they're so fucking dark. It's just like, do we joke about it? Can we? It's just, I don't know. It just leaves me with a weird feeling.
Well, I'll say this as the newbie, I feel like you guys are polishing out these these little golden nuggets of hey, these weren't that great of years, but here's some bright spots as we keep getting through this.
Yes,
That's what I feel like I'm learning right now.
The best way I can sum it up was It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was just like, I don't know. But Spicy, buddy, I gotta ask you, like, what'd you feel about the Hardys' influence in Impact? Because I felt like Matt had a huge resurgence here in Impact.
So, if we're not going to include Jeff's incidents prior to, with Matt developing his character that is now probably considerably more popular than what it should be. To be honest, Jeremy Borash did a whole lot for them to make it what it is today. It definitely added another 15 years to their career, to both equally, because Broken Matt was fine, but Brother Nero, that was a game changer.
Yeah.
How you got your own brother into it, just.
And by the way, we're not even going to talk about Willow. Just saying. But yes, Matt Hardy.
Oh my!
Well, you didn't like bringing up his Omega character?
No, we're not going to. No.
Wait. If we're going to talk about Willow, then we might as well talk about Hitchweed.
Yes.
I don't even know what you guys are talking about. I know
Hitchweed
Willow
made TNA appearances.
I may walk out on my own show. No, or our own show. No.
Let's just turn this off now. Let's just stop here.
37 episodes. That's good.
It was a good run. Good night and good luck. No. Yeah, there's some shit, but I do think like the broken universe being developed in Impact and Spice, you hit the nail on the head. A lot of that, like Jeremy Borash producing those cinematic matches, because I mean that's really the first time in this era of wrestling we're seeing cinematic wrestling, which that's another thing that kind of made Impact kind of stand out because nobody had the balls to do that shit. I feel like Impact at the time was just like, yeah, you know what, fuck it, who cares? Let's just do it. And my God, like those matches are just so fucking ridiculous. I still think today those are definitely the best of the broken Matt Hardy matches. Which, if you think about this, is crazy, folks. He's done that gimmick and cinematic matches in Impact, WWE, AEW. I think those are the three. He may have done it in another promotion. I can't think of one. But
not cinematically, no.
Yeah, not cinematically. Okay, yeah, but still, though, that's pretty fucking.
I think
impressive.
One thing that we should point out, because we're making these years sound really bad, but what you have to take away is that while these were kind of dark years for Impact, I mean, we've done it a couple times here. We're like, yeah, these years were kind of bad, but man, you had to have seen the stuff with EC3 because it was really good. Or man, you had to have seen the OVE stuff because it was really good. Or man, you had to have seen the Broken Matt stuff because it was really good. There was always something really good happening in Impact. Maybe overall, the show the best at the time. Yeah, they were hard to find, but there was always something really good happening in Impact at the time and keeping them, also wrestling fans.
Yeah. There is a reason why they're still around today, and it was.
This is true.
Maybe that
Dixie Carter's Deep Pockets.
Well, hey, you know what? That kind of segues into something I want to talk about too. I think we got to talk about what's that?
That our Panda Energy sponsorship.
Yeah, that's you. Yeah, we got to talk about what was it? The Owl, right? Anthem purchasing Impact.
Yeah,
that was kind of like wait a minute. Correct me here if I'm wrong, but does Anthem still own them?
Yes, they do.
Or is it okay? I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember, but yeah,
it does.
I know. Fucking Rebby Hardy, man, fucking hates that goddamn Owl. She let you know about it like all the fucking time. I think she even had shirts made up that said "fuck the Owl." But anyways,
she did.
Fuck that Owl.
Yeah, you're right. Fuck that Owl. But another one I want to talk about too. Let's talk about the Billy Corgan controversy. Because remember,
why do we have to bring up this bald?
We got to get it over with. I swear, I think this is like one of the last bad things we're going to talk about. Then we're going to talk about the good. Okay, we may have one more bad thing, but I swear we're going to get there, Michael. But Billy Corgan being brought in. I believe like he thought he was coming in as like the like to own into ownership with them and stuff, and like Dixie just pretty much like fucked him over. And hey, he decided to say fuck it and bought the NWA because I think at the time he's like, God damn it, I gotta get a world title on Tyrus. How do I fucking do this? But guess what? 5 years later or whatever, he was successful, right, Hambo? That's the whole reason Billy Corgan got into like owning a wrestling.
I mean, third time is the charm. He did try to get financially into buying ECW. He tried it with Impact.
Back in the day, yeah.
I mean, NWA was the third time. Third time's the charm.
Yeah, there you go. And Tyrus is your champion. Ugh. Anyways, one last bad little black guy I want to talk about, and then I swear to you, we're not going to talk about any more negativity. Not intentionally, anyway. I want to talk about the infamous matchup. Now, this got a lot of heat at the time, too. It was at Bound for Glory. Let's talk about that matchup between Austin Aries and Johnny Impact, I guess
Yeah,
they
it
were
was
calling
Johnny Impact.
Yeah, because
he's another one who had a resurgence in his career.
Yeah, yes, he did, and won the Impact World Title. But let's talk about that finish because Aries and they had some pretty controversial promos there going into that.
Was awkward.
Yes, it was because there was like a lot of shit talking back and forth, and some like real life shit being brought up with somebody else we got to talk about too, Johnny's wife, Taya Valkyrie. And then we get to that matchup, and just the finish of that match was so bizarre, where Johnny goes over and Austin Aries practically just takes the pin and no sells it and gets the fuck out of there.
Flipping off the crowd? That is...
Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like after this, like Aries never wrestled for Impact again, did he?
No, that was his last... That was his last shot on TV for any company.
I was going to ask you that. I feel like because he'd already had the NXT run at this point, right? Aries had?
Yeah. That horrible NXT and main roster run. Yeah. With the cruiserweight title, he had pretty much.
I'm literally Googling this right now.
He literally had blown all his bases after this Impact situation.
Yeah, and I mean, it just went downhill there for his career after this, man. I can't even think of like.
So bad he had to start wrestling for CYN.
I was going to say, is he still wrestling? I can't think of the last time I've heard about Aries wrestling on a show.
The last time I saw him was I had saw him on a CYN poster. God damn, you got to control your narratives.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the last time I remember it, too. Which is like a shame because, I mean, he's a super talented dude, but just like
he's a douche.
Dick. Just a fucking dick. But
what is Walt grilling? Because I know he's grilling something.
Patience. My son is wanting to grill, and I'm saying, so we're currently just stacking wood, burning off all the energy. Toddlers being toddlers, talking about Impact. It's great.
If it gets to be too much for you, my friend, go ahead and feel free to shotgun some beverage, whatever you want, my friend.
I have a liquid death around here. Do not tempt me.
Oh, man. But, hey, we talked about the negatives, like I say. Let's talk about, like, some of the positives. And, like, we mentioned we mentioned EC3. We mentioned the deletion matches. There's some fun factions in this era, too. One of the first ones I want to talk about. What about the Decay? I love the Decay.
I love Decay so much. It's like one of the last good things they did with Abyss.
Yes, it literally was. And like Crazy Steve, along with Rosemary, man. Oh, man, that was just such a good threesome there.
Yeah, threesome. Sorry.
Yeah, you went there. I was waiting for somebody.
I think one of the other things, that we started to see around this time.
My job.
We started to see an influx of talent from Lucha Underground. We did get Johnny Penta. Penta became TNA champion during this time, or Impact.
Yeah, he did.
Champion, excuse me.
Yeah, this is the first time outside of Lucha that we're really seeing like Penta on a show, and Penta had an amazing run in Impact. My God, If you want to talk about some of the greatest matches in the entire history of Impact Wrestling, I can easily say in the top 10, I think I would put Penta against Sami Callihan from Slammiversary that one year. That match is fucking awesome. The brutality of that. God, now I just kind of want to watch it after we get done with this. But yeah, Penta's one of those guys.
And we talked about Tessa Blanchard earlier. I mean, her rivalry with Brian Cage was great.
Oh,
yes. Brian Cage.
Brian Cage is another one.
Oh yeah.
The Swolverine, baby.
He moves around like a brick wall, but
But I mean, also too, like he had a hell of a run here too, as well. Former Impact champion too.
Speaking of Brian Cage, though, can I just say one thing?
Yes.
Because this is going to be off topic, but what else do you expect from me? I love wrestling so much because in the world of professional wrestling, it makes total sense for a guy like Adam Cole to pin Brian Cage. Yes. I love it. I love it.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about on AEW. Yes.
Yes.
That did happen the other night. But he should just be thanking his stars. He didn't get hit with that deadly double clothesline, man. You know that's coming. Now you got me off topic, but I have to. Okay, you go first, Spicy.
Just to tie on, only thing that bothered me about that match is that MJF took most of the heat when he's the world champion. Only thing, like that's a blemish to me in the AEW realm, is that you had your world champion look like a chump, almost giving me TNA vibes. Almost, it's right there. Like,
interesting.
You just, But it's fine. It's okay.
Well, for me, what I'm loving about the twosome with those guys, and we'll get back on track here, but I just love how they are making simplistic and basic moves fucking get the loudest reaction of anything on the show. Like MJF's like the body slam attempts of Big Bill, and it finally happened. Oh my god, that was so fucking good.
I love that MJF every week is putting something on his elbow pad, and this week it's a double clothesline.
I didn't notice that's what it said this week. Okay. And I feel like when they hit that damn double clothesline, the crowd is just going to fucking pop. Like, it's just going to be nuts. But anyways, you can check out Dynamite every Wednesday night over on TBS. Just saying. But we're talking about some of these stars that emerged or got reborn, if you will. You know, a guy we mentioned, like, who got a huge run here and, like, kind of, I think, put eyes on him for WWE to bring him back was Bobby Lashley. But there's another guy we've mentioned, but I think this was a huge part of it too. Let's talk about Drew Galloway.
Yes.
I mean, Drew, even though he was there for like a cup of coffee more or less, but still he was a former Impact World Champion as well.
It's another guy just like Bobby that, if he didn't have this run in Impact, I don't know that he would have come back to WWE and become a world champion there.
Yeah.
It's amazing, too. If you look at Drew, like, in his first run in the WWE versus, like, when this run, like, that guy just got into such amazing, phenomenal shape, like, shredded. Like, I mean, he looked like a true, like, mega star.
I think the two things that helped Drew was this Impact run and his run on the Indies for, like, Evolve.
Oh, yeah.
He had a phenomenal run in Evolve.
And ICW, too.
Yeah, as, like a badass heel.
Yeah, dude, I could not agree with you more, my friend. We mentioned Pentagon. We also got to mention his brother Ray, man. Like Ray, both the Lucha brothers had an awesome time here. And like, good God, what about the matches the Lucha brothers had with Santana and Ortiz? Like, holy shit! That's another one you could easily put up in the top 10 of all time of great matchups.
One of my favorite tag teams and storylines were during this time that nobody really talks about is the stuff between Rosemary and Allie.
Yes.
Oh, the Bonnie.
I was going to ask, because Allie went off in Impact. She was phenomenal in Impact.
Yeah, you wouldn't recognize her today in AEW, folks. Like the run she had here, and like
We got a
Impact.
little Pepper Parks in Impact during this time too.
True.
Yeah, and that Knockouts division.
What was his name? Braxton Sutter.
Yes, Braxton Sutter.
Braxton Sutter, yeah. Guy we skipped. I know he's your boy, Michael, but I mean, we're going back now a little bit, but I don't think we talked any about Crimson. I guess he was here. I mean, that's all I really got to say about that. I'm sorry, but I'm just like, Crimson never did it for me.
He was there.
Or
Yeah.
some people do forget. Only the ones that don't have two eyes. But Mr. Cody Rhodes took a little spin as Cody in the TNA realm, won a title, and then dipped right out.
What title did he win? I don't even remember that.
I think the world title for Brandon.
Did he win the world title there? Shit.
Yeah, he won for like a split second.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I'll be damned.
Yeah.
See,
and another one who had, again, and for some reason this is an occurrence for me on this damn show of bringing up people who have controversy behind their name. L1 Alberto El Patron.
Oh, that fuck face. Yeah, he was there.
Two people we don't talk about. Not Bruno and not Alberto.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
I'm just saying, him and Austin Aries had a good little feud for the title.
Yeah.
Well, you're not wrong there. I can't deny you there, but yeah, fuck that guy though, seriously.
Definitely. I'm just saying. I'm looking at things from Impact and I'm like, oh yeah, that did happen.
Yeah.
Hold up. So I googled this Rosemary and Allie thing. They killed her off.
They killed a lot of people off in Impact. It is
they killed a lot of people in Impact.
There's been a lot of deaths.
Yeah.
If
you want to murder somebody in wrestling, just go work at Impact for a little bit.
They killed Allie off. They killed Mickey James off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God!
They killed Eric Young off. Eric Young death.
Yeah.
Still gives me nightmares. Him getting stabbed in a jail is wild.
Oh, I forgot. Oh, yeah, with violence by design, right? And now
yes. And then he gets signed by WWE and has not been seen since.
Yeah. I forgot. Yeah, dude, that was fucking brutal. I forgot about that. I just got to thinking of something too. What was that damn thing they did with the house? They were in like a house and they were doing like the reality show or whatever. Did they end up like killing somebody on that too? Did they kill Tommy Dreamer?
Yeah, that was more. I think that was after that we're talking about here, because that's happened a couple times in the last couple years. But yeah, I thought that was funny. That was mostly happened because of COVID, though. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Spicy.
I can't remember if, speaking of violent by design, I don't know if it's within the years we're talking about, but the best version of Cody Deaner was when he first came on as like OBD's maybe boyfriend, maybe cousin. They kind of didn't really specify.
I love that.
Yeah.
I fucking love ODB.
Yeah.
Oh, I do too.
She looks good now.
What was that during the time Eric Young turned heel and then he had a group? It was like the Global Elite.
Oh, yeah, with Homicide.
Can't think of what it was called.
Yeah, with Homicide and
yeah, he was all clean cut, shaven and stuff, like because there for a long time, you know.
Yeah.
Well, you think about when he won the world title, a lot of people harped on that because it was like, okay, they're literally just picking back off of Daniel Bryan in the WWE because it was a similar kind of story in a way.
Yeah.
But I still loved it just for the fact
he was the world
EY
champion and he had a fishing show.
Oh my God. Which you could also see on Discovery America. Or no, I actually think it was on Animal Planet, but still.
It was on Animal Planet.
Yeah.
Which ironically, around the same time, Shawn Michaels also had the show on the channel.
Shawn Michaels had a show on there? Really?
Yeah, he did. He had a hunting
Dead.
show.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right.
If you don't believe it, you can always Wikipedia it.
I have a question though, and we're gonna get a little off topic here, but I gotta know how in the fuck is that cross-eyed bastard able to like hunt down like deer and shit? Like, I just
don't
want to
know,
know.
but he's the
Like,
biggest.
how's that
hunter in the
work?
world.
How dare,
How dare
you?
I? I was waiting for it.
How dare you?
I had to get one in, brother.
All right.
I know that you, of all people, Mr. Fan of Brett, the bitter man Hart over there. How
Hey, now.
dare you?
All right. So there's another guy who I forgot to bring up in the last episode last week, but he also was part of this era in Impact. The Pope.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. The Pope was
Yes.
for a while. Pope had a great run in Impact.
His Impact run was amazing,
Yeah.
especially after him.
He had a great run there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really developed his character a lot there too, as well. Yeah. The Pope had a fucking phenomenal run there. I forgot about that. Matter of fact, he ended up going into like later on here. These years we're talking about, he was on color commentary. Let's talk about that for a minute. Good God, that was fucking brutal. Listen to like. What the fucking was the kid's name off Tough Enough? Josh
Matthews?
Josh Matthews and Jeremy Borash. And that led to like a match they had at like what was it, a Slammiversary where it was like Josh and Scott Steiner against Abyss, or no, was it Abyss? Yeah, it was Abyss and Jeremy Borash, I think.
Yeah.
Yikes!
Because this
That
was
was kind of a
also
cinematic match.
that was also around the time that Spud was having a feud with Swoggle. By the way, I forgot that this was happening. I forgot that Swoggle was in Impact for a while.
Well,
You know, I just remember like a one-off. Was he there for a little while? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was.
well, I know we're not there yet.
His only feud was with Spud.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There is something very phenomenal. We're just not there yet.
Oh, that I do remember that one off too when they brought him in as like AJ Styles on that one episode.
Yes.
Oh my God. What the fuck was it they called him? Like the
He's very renowned.
Was it like the Wii phenomenal one?
Yeah.
something like that, yeah.
And we also had like this taste of having Bruce Pritchard on TV all the time during this era.
Oh. Yikes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think we've done a
I
good
can't
job
stand Bruce
covering.
Pritchard personally.
I can't either. That's why I said it the way I said it.
No, you can't. Oh, that's the phenomenal one. That's
No,
it. Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you, MJ.
At Jay
Yeah.
Wood-
Wii nominal one.
Get ready to fly. 1 foot.
Yo, the pop that crowd had when that song hit.
Oh, well, I would have popped too because it's like, holy fuck, AJ Styles is back. Like, but yeah, too good to be true. But you know, we've talked a lot about like kind of like we say, this era there was a lot of good with a lot of bad. Like the bad's just management. Like just the management here was piss poor. You had some. It's kind of like if you go to like a restaurant, man. And like you go on certain days when the cook and the hostess or the waitresses, the good ones, are going to be there. It's kind of like the thing with Impact. I mean, they had some good shit going on. It just had piss poor management.
We also get Aaron Rex or Aaron.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was in there for a cup of coffee too, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But I want to talk about when Impact really was starting to kind of turn things around, and that was in 2018 when you have Scott D'Amore and Don Callis take over and get the books, essentially, and they really like turn things around. Now, they weren't able to do it right off the bat, but you could slowly start to see it, and that's kind of where we're at nowadays, too, because we got some amazing stuff during this time frame. We mentioned it earlier, like, one thing I want to talk about, I love the run of Sami Callihan. Sami Callihan just being this, like, degenerate kind of like, fuck you, fuck the system, I'm going to do it my way. But everybody's still trying to fuck him over, you know. He can't get to that world title. In between all this, he has this insanely fucking awesome feud with Tessa Blanchard. and kind of like wins that for the time being, goes on to win the world title, and then like kind of like a classic just I don't want to say it's exactly like this, but I go back to thinking like when Bret Hart and Owen Hart at WrestleMania 10, then Tessa kind of comes out and it's like, okay, I'm going to be the next challenger for that world title there, pal. And she takes the title off of him, man. And God, like, geez, that just those series of matches with Tessa Blanchard and fucking Sami Callihan, chef's kiss. Spicy, were you a fan of the rivalry between Tessa and Sami?
Yes, because it broke down a lot of barriers, and it really shows that, one, it's one of very few companies that had a women's world heavyweight champion, also competing with the men. So for the time, awesome. Two, not a big fan of Sami Callihan, so I was glad that Tessa, took the W. Then also not a fan of Tessa because of her things, but we don't talk about that. We don't talk about Bruno.
Well,
But for the time, yes, absolutely, that was a historic win. I'm just glad to see that Sami knows how to safely swing a bat now. So
hey, trial and error.
Yeah, that Eddie Edwards spot was crazy.
And you do know that Sami Callihan is a close personal friend of Cole TV.
That's right. He plugged us. Facts. Hambone, what did you make of like seeing Tessa Blanchard become the first woman to win like a major world title, like in a company that was like naturally like featured? Nationally,
Well, I mean, at the time, I was completely down for it because this is before we really knew all the stuff that we know now about Tessa and how toxic her personality tends to be. But I think that her run in Impact really proved that she deserved to be there. She was that damn good in the ring that she could go in there and hang with the guys. And if there was anybody, at the time, as far as a woman goes on the Impact roster that could do that, it was her. Unfortunately, like we talked about earlier, she was just a little too damn toxic for her own good. But man, if she had gotten that shit straightened out, I think she'd probably be one of the biggest stars in the wrestling world right now.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that too, because like I definitely want to talk about that. Like, what would have happened if none of that shit happened? Like, where would she be right now? I mean, I think it's safe to say she would have.
I think she probably would have gotten picked up by WWE and probably been a huge part of the women's revolution era.
Oh yeah, and she would have been a multi-time champion.
Yeah. She'd be at the top of the women's division somewhere.
We would be having a Flair versus Blanchard feud with their dads as managers at a Mania.
Absolutely.
Oh my God! Oh yes.
Somewhere.
I still hope that happens someday, but
somewhere in the multiverse, she wasn't so toxic, and
she wasn't a race never.
And we had this. It exists out there in the multiverse.
Someday.
By the way, Impact is on.
Yes, that's right. Although you should enjoy like listening to us and watch us, but hey,
don't say anything about it while you're watching it there, Wheels, because I gotta watch it later.
I won't say anything.
Go home show, brother, before Slammiversary this Saturday night.
That's commitment, Hambone, and I.
Yeah. You guys mentioned something here, and this is the next topic I really want to talk about with this era too, is, one of the, popular catchphrases in the wrestling lexicon today is the forbidden door, where you get these companies working with each other. Well, here in North America, Impact Wrestling is the first one that kicked that sumbitch down. Because think of all the companies they've worked with over the years, like, over in Japan and like AAA, like, or in Mexico, Lucha Libre. But man, they had some pretty big moments here over the past couple of years as well. Like, and I mean, I think the biggest you got to talk about, Mickey James showing up in the fucking Royal Rumble with the Knockouts title coming out to Hardcore Country. That was such a huge moment. That's something I never thought I would see.
I still think the WWE dropped the ball on it.
Well, yeah, there's no doubt about that. I think they could have done a little bit more with it, but I think it was just like a one-off, you know, this is all we're going to allow you.
Yeah, that's because of the douchebag in the trash can.
Can I talk about what one of my favorite things of the last 4 years of Impact has been? And it's probably not something that anybody else is really going to bring up. And hasn't been the last year or so, but I have absolutely loved the resurgence
Steve Macklin, I knew it.
Johnny Swinger.
Yes.
You son of a bitch.
Oh.
Yes.
I love this sleazy 80s stereotypical wrestler gimmick that he has been doing since he came back is fucking hilarious. It's so entertaining. I love the backstage segments when they did Wrestler's Court at one point for him. Everything that he does with this gimmick is hilarious. The past year or so, they haven't really been featuring him much. He's still around, but there were like 2 years or so there where Johnny Swinger was a huge part of the Impact show, and everything he did was hilarious.
Impact, Johnny Swinger during COVID era in Impact, phenomenal. I want to know where they found this man from.
Yep.
I'm trying to figure out where they found this man because he had not been relevant since like 04.
He actually did a podcast. I want to say that it was Tommy Dreamer's, because Tommy Dreamer has a podcast that he only does like once a month or so. And him and Tommy got into it, and he told his whole story. It was actually pretty interesting because he doesn't do interviews, really. I mean, he even said right on there that he really doesn't do interviews or podcasts or anything like that. It's the first time I've ever heard him speak about his career. So if anybody does find this gimmick that he does interesting the way that I do, go find that podcast. It's a good listen.
I've listened to that one. You're right. It is a really good listen too, especially like the evolution of his career and how he pretty much went doing shit and like Rebirth, man. And I'm like you. I love this sleazy like when B-Roll and I, a little inside story here. B-Roll and I did get to attend Impact Wrestling's Under Siege over a year ago when it was in Kentucky, and his entrance was so fucking hilarious. Because they were like trying to.
Yeah, it might have been like the first entrance we saw.
Yeah, they were trying to and I think they've done this a couple of times. He's trying to recreate like the WrestleMania cart entrance.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
where he's being brought
yeah. They're
down
still
in the
doing
cart.
that with Zicky Dice going around.
Yes, and Siggy, was there as well. It was so fucking funny.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Made me pop.
But
yeah, that's a good point.
And another thing I loved about Impact, especially in this era, them bringing up the younger talent too, along with their veterans. Because as I'm watching them right now on TV, the Rascals.
Yeah, Rascals had a hell of a run during this time.
Yeah,
I mean,
I gotta say personally, when it comes to the Rascals, Wesley Desmond Des is really the only one that I actually like, but they did have a very huge part of Impact at this time with their treehouse gimmick.
Yes.
Yep. And I feel like
I got a storyline that we got to talk about real quick. Well, since we're some wild ass storylines in Impact, let's talk about Rosemary and Johnny Bravo, where they had a very, very long romantic angle where they ended up getting married and Johnny Bravo got shot.
Yeah.
That's the one I remember. That's what that happened on that house thing they did. Yeah.
Googling.
Oh my God.
I don't understand.
Impact is wild.
People. Yeah, Impact with the killing is crazy.
Yeah, they just killed the unstoppable PCO a week ago, or did they?
They just lit him on fire. That's normal.
Well, didn't they get his? Didn't they like? What they did? No, they did something else to him too, didn't they? I was thinking.
Battery acid. Poured battery
They
acid.
poured battery acid into his mouth.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
poured battery acid. Yeah, that's not good, man.
Why is the marshmallow man?
Yeah, you can't do that.
Oh, you're watching the segment. Oh my god, yeah, it's hilarious, especially if you're watching it like out of context. Yeah, this is actually a fun. we should just watch your reactions to this right now. We're just gonna watch you, B-roll. And we're watching.
All eyes are all on me. After this reaction time, we've got to talk about the North.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yes. Yeah.
I love
What
the North.
what a fucking great tag team that was.
Okay,
Josh
this video is
Alexander.
5 minutes long, so should I fast forward? I should fast forward.
It's okay. You can watch it later. It doesn't matter.
I'm gonna fast forward.
Josh Alexander though, and Ethan Page as a tag team. Oh my god! Like, what?
Hold on, they kissed. They kissed. Lights are out. Oh, there's a flash. What the crap? Best reaction. Was Hornswoggle?
And you're welcome.
I'm saying they allowed Hornswoggle to do some weird shit in Impact in a short time there.
Hornswoggle just did a lot of weird shit in general.
I think Hornswoggle will do anything for him.
But no, in all seriousness, let's talk about the North though and their greatness. I think they are they still the longest reigning Impact Tag Team Champions of all time? I think it's in the North. I don't think that because I mean they were held it for almost 2 years, I believe.
I do not remember.
I'm Googling.
Yeah. But the North, like, you talk about like two completely kind of like different guys, but also at the same time just young. Because, Josh Alexander, we know Josh Alexander. Josh Alexander is a fucking machine. Like, he is probably, arguably, pound for pound, in ring, is one of the best wrestlers in the world today. I don't care what anybody says as far as the technician and stuff, and just that strong style, if you want to call it that. But Ethan Page, such a great wrestler too, and like so fucking entertaining, and like Papa Khan, look at me, fucking book that man the right way, goddammit. This shit's getting old.
If there's one wrestler who
Agreed.
I feel get booked wrong, it's Ethan fucking Page.
Like the only good thing they did right off the bat was like having him as like the mystery guy and that like
the ladder match, the Vegas.
But
I like that, they put him against MJF, a couple weeks ago. It looks like they're kind of officially turning him face, but man, they got to get him away from this whole Matt Hardy owns his contract shit, and he just needs to get off on his own, and they need to push that man.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know what? Now's the time to do it too, because he could be another star of Collision. Like, I mean, he could really be a breakout
absolutely.
Star.
And
what were you gonna say, B-Roll?
I was gonna echo the sentiments on Ethan Page, but I think we've covered it. And yes, the North had the longest reign as tag team champions, 380 days.
There you go. Now it's unfortunate how Ethan Page.
Didn't they had a feud with the Deaners, right? And then they went out to Canada under their farm and had a match. In their barn house.
You're not going to tell me they killed off Ethan Page?
Oh, they did, but not in that way.
Yeah, him and Karate Man.
The Karate Man is the one that killed Ethan Page.
Fucking loved Karate Man.
Oh my
god. That's another. Man, we need to do. I'm
Listen,
gonna sit down with you.
If you're not fucking watching Impact, you need to watch this fucking company. I'm telling you, it is the wildest thing that you'll see sometimes. You're gonna get great fucking wrestling, but then you're just gonna get shit that blows your mind sometimes.
Goofy, off the wall.
Another guy in this weird COVID era that had a great resurgence, Heath Slater.
Bye. Yeah, this is true. Him and Rhino picking up their tag team. And Rhino's another guy too, man. Who would come back and like yeah. But you're right, you're absolutely right. Heath. We also Brian Myers too. We got to talk about Brian Myers coming into Impact and actually, you know, having a pretty decent run. And still, it's going to a certain extent.
He's
one of my most favorite tag teams. Again, something else that's probably not really going to get talked about, but I absolutely loved Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz as Fire and Flavor.
Yes, please.
They were a great tag team, and they were hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't watching at the time, but from what I've seen of it, I absolutely freaking loved it. I honestly was hoping that she didn't re-sign with Impact so we could get Fire and Flavor in AEW, but
and Tasha Steelz,
I wish
what
that
about
would have
her
happened
rise? I mean, she's had an incredible run as a former Knockouts champion, had a dominant run there as champion, rightfully so. Her story I find fascinating as well, like coming up essentially from the streets and making a name for herself in the wrestling world. Yeah, Tasha Steelz, and that's something else too. There's some great knockouts of this time frame and current. Like now, one of them we got to talk about who's I don't know if she's done for now with Impact, but hopefully she's going to come back or something. Let's talk about Big Mama Pump herself. What about Jordan Grace?
I love that woman.
Yeah.
She scares me. She could hurt me. I guarantee it.
Jonathan Gresham is a lucky son of a bitch.
And like also though, like I'm like you, she scares me a little bit. I'd be like, I'm sorry, Big Mama Pump. I didn't mean to spill the milk. I'm sorry. I'll clean it up.
We got a great run out of Emma. We got Tennille Dashwood coming over to Impact, and we got what was her tag team with Madison Rayne? Influence.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
and they got a great so we're kind of coming full circle here, really. I mean, the roster they have right now is great, especially in the Knockouts division, man. With let's talk about the pretty much the rebirth, or maybe not even a rebirth, just like the coming to be finally of a company realizing of her fucking greatness. I don't know how nobody else realized it, but fucking Deonna Purrazzo, her amazing run she's had these past couple of years.
I love the virtuoso.
Yep.
Regardless if she's
I've been like I said, we taped the prediction show the other night, and we talked about Deonna, and I have loved Deonna Purrazzo since Ring of Honor. I always thought she was very good, even back then when she was a rookie, and I was so excited to see her go to WWE and go to NXT, and we really got nothing out of it there. So I have loved her run in Impact. She has proved that she is one of the best women's wrestlers in the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
And another one in this current era, Masha Slamovich.
Oh yeah, that roster right now is
I love Masha.
Fire. And we talked about her on the prediction shows too, Hambone, one of our favorites, Kylan King.
Yes.
Fucking
That's right.
Kylan.
That's right. And not just her, but I love that Taylor Wilde has come back, Taylor Wilde had a run in the TNA days. I always thought that she was extremely good back then. She was one of the most featured knockouts at the time. She took 10 years off and came back the last year and a half, and it's like she never left, doing a little witchy gimmick with Kylan King with the Coven. I'm really enjoying it.
The Coven is great.
Yeah, I love the Coven. I'm like, I mean, we were talking about this on the prediction show, which you can see all of that tomorrow night here on Cole TV, just saying. But we're talking about that matchup this coming Slammiversary, man. That's going to be an interesting tag team title match for the Knockouts tag titles.
Yeah.
But yeah, so many great knockouts in this area. And you have others coming back in too as well, like Mickie James. It's been fun watching her resurgence yet again. That woman is ageless, I'm telling you. And she's so damn good. One of the all-time greatest women's professional wrestlers. Also, something I think that helps Impact in that Knockouts division too is who their agent is arguably probably the greatest knockout of all time in Gail Kim.
When you have that woman running the division, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, and we've talked about it not only on here these past couple weeks, but we've talked about this many times on other of our shows here on Cole TV. The Knockouts division is the best booked women's division in all professional wrestling and has been for years.
Absolutely.
I mean, we talked about some down moments here for Impact, but guys, I honestly can't really recall a time where I was watching the Knockouts division and I was thinking like, that's just not for me. I mean, they always have had some great.
I think we kind of skipped over it a little bit too. These dark years that we were talking about. Somebody who's in Impact right now who had a great run then was Havoc. She had a great run as an unstoppable monster in those dark years. She was moving a little bit better back then, and she had a really good monster run there that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, she was a badass heel. Like she was like on the same level of like just like intimidation as like an Awesome Kong, man.
I love Awesome Kong.
Yeah, but this Knockouts division. Hi.
My phone cannot take all of this positivity.
I love it, man. I love it.
Impact has probably the best, if not one of the best, women's divisions. Probably in the past 10 years, with Maria Canellis Bennett, with her and Women's Wrestling Army and things like that. That's definitely helping. And she's another one that I'm glad she came to Impact with Mike Bennett, and they did, everything that they could. Because those as a tandem, they're just so good.
Yeah, those two were great anywhere. It's a damn shame they didn't get a better run in the WWE, but
yeah. But they're holding down Ring of Honor right now.
Yeah, I love seeing the Kingdom back together, man. Guys, I want to talk about like some of the other like top stars currently of Impact Wrestling. And first and foremost, I want to talk about what you got there? Oh yeah. Oh yes, let's go with it. Let's go with a little speedball.
I will say I didn't understand him or his gimmick until that goddamn match with him and Josh Alexander.
Listen, when he first came into Impact Wheels, I was not sure about this guy. He kind of weirded me out. I'm not gonna lie. He's kind of a weird dude, but he won me over like real fucking quick with how just damn good he is and how different and innovative his moveset is. You follow Speedball on social media. He's just a good dude in real life. It's really hard not to like him.
Yeah. I love him now. But that match with Josh Alexander that literally took the whole episode.
Yeah.
That hour-long match. That was amazing.
Yeah, in my opinion, that was up there for match of the year last year.
Yeah,
easily.
But so
Speedball very quickly went from a guy who I didn't understand and kind of thought was weird to my favorite guy in the company. It was like 6 months. Went from this guy's kind of weirding me out to he's my favorite guy here now.
Yeah. So my first sighting of Speedball was we had went to a Warrior Wrestling show in Indianapolis, and he had a match against Casey Navarro. And when he came out and the funky monkey music hit, and I was like, wasn't too sure.
Monkey. Monkey.
What was
Casey
going
Navarro's
on?
wrestling up here in the Northwest next month.
Hey, you know what? You talk about names of future stars. That's a guy right there. You're going to be talking a lot, I think, in the future. Casey Navarro. That guy is fucking damn good. And we've had the privilege of seeing him wrestle.
Out a few months ago. I wish they would have signed him.
He's going to end up somewhere huge. And you know how I know that? Because he's #blessed. Here's another guy I want to talk about. Hambone. You may want to turn your head here for a little bit, but I got to talk about a little Moose Nation. I love Moose personally.
I do too.
I think he's got like great character, great promo. I love he's a physical specimen. He can go in the ring. Well, why is it you hate Moose so much?
I just don't like this dude. Listen, I'm gonna say I could not stand him even when he was in Ring of Honor. I did not think that he was a good wrestler. I will say that he has gotten better through his Impact run, but I just don't like him. I don't think that he has an entertaining gimmick. I think that he's a terrible talker, to be honest, which is, and I don't say this to be mean, but part of it comes with his speech impediment. But not only that, like one of the reasons that he can't go anywhere else, he likes to talk like, oh, I chose to stay in Impact. No, you're in Impact because nobody else will take you because you have, he's got domestic abuse charges in his personal life, which when I hear that kind of shit, it's kind of hard for me to like people.
I did not know this.
I got to be 100% honest.
Now you know
that.
I didn't know that either.
So now you're saying I need to hate. Well, I hate hearing shit like that too. That is a big turnoff. I'm not gonna lie. Well, despite that, I think he has had an impressive run in TNA or Impact Wrestling too. And hey, bringing in the TNA championship as well. That was one thing I love that he did, resurrecting that or bringing that back to life.
Yes. Now, but speaking, we haven't covered this yet. But during the collector of belts, we did have Mr. Kenneth make a
Impact that was one thing I was wanting to talk about, on that when we were talking the Forbidden Door, when they started working with AEW and Don Callis showing up there, and because at the time Don Callis was an announcer, for Impact. And now him showing up, and
Don Callis has an interesting long history with TNA/Impact because he was around.
Because he was there for their early days.
Yeah, he was. He managed a heel faction, Red Shirt Security, and Abyss.
Yeah, he was there in the Asylum years. Yeah,
he's got a history with Jeff.
Yeah. And then Christian won the title off of Kenny.
And then Christian dropping it, rightfully so, to one Josh Alexander. That was a tremendous.
All of this Impact talk.
I know.
The best parts of the bad years.
Yeah, and your phone's just like, oh my gosh, it's too much Impact. It's like impacting your phone. See what I did there? Yeah, I thought Kenny's run there was very fun though. That was very fascinating and interesting. One of the other many fascinating things about Impact. Here's the thing: let's put yourself in within a year's time frame. Look at all who Impact Wrestling have worked with. They've worked with, I think CMLL. They've worked with New Japan Pro Wrestling. They've worked with AEW and WWE. No other fucking company can say that.
No.
And that's just how good Impact Wrestling has been over the past couple of years. And it's just criminally insane and downright, just fucking mind-boggling that people are sleeping still on Impact Wrestling.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that we need to talk about here that we haven't talked about, we're talking about this resurgence of the past 4 years. Let's talk about why we're having this resurgence, and it's mostly because of Scott fucking D'Amore.
Yeah, it's a huge. Scott D'Amore is a massive part of this. That guy, he is, booking, writing, he is fucking killing it. And he's got a great team with him too as well. But dude, Scott D'Amore is the unsung hero of Impact Wrestling. Dare I say, if Scott D'Amore doesn't come along, I don't know. We're maybe having this conversation just talking about. You guys remember when Impact Wrestling was around?
Yes.
I don't think they would.
No.
Yeah, I may agree with you there.
No, if it wasn't for Scott, there would be no more Impact.
No. And I mean, you also have like stars finally coming back to the company, like some of the staples, like the Motor City Machine Guns returning at that Slammiversary in 2020. And my gosh, now look at him. Now you've got, an X Division champion in Chris Sabin, and you've got your Impact champion in Alex Shelley. You know what I find fascinating about Alex Shelley during his comeback run for him? Like he was like during COVID, like he didn't work. So he wasn't able to work for Impact because of he's still a licensed therapist, like a physical therapist. Which I found like all the more fascinating, and just look at his career resurgence here in Impact over these past couple of years. Not only what he's done there, but like in other promotion as well, too. Yeah. I mean, shit, it's hard to believe this, B-Roll.
I think the Good Brothers had a great run, too, over the last 2 years over there.
You brought up Kenny. I wanted to bring up the Good Brothers because
let's talk about the Good Brothers.
Amazing and hilarious. You saw a different side of Carl Anderson and Luke Hawx during that Impact.
I really wish the WWE would let the Good Brothers off the leash a little bit. I don't even know why they were brought back for what they've done, but man, I feel like a lot of people criticize them who have never seen them outside of WWE and who don't know how actually entertaining they are.
They're hilarious.
If you want to do yourself a favor, there's a million podcasts out there. I know. But one of the funniest fucking wrestling podcasts is with the Good Brothers, man.
Go listen to Talking Shop and listen to the old episodes when it was the fucking them and the Young Bucks and Rocky Romero and all them. It's fucking comedy gold. I would listen to that podcast for hours on end because they were so fucking entertaining.
Yes.
There's a hilarious shoot interview video called the Biz Click with all those guys in it. So fucking good. And it's literally half an hour of it is Luke Gallows putting over his hot Asian wife.
Yep. Yeah. And I love I've listened to so many of their podcasts and there's so many it's great. But like I love when like Gallows does like fucking Howard Finkel. It's spot on.
Especially doing it from heaven.
Fucking on.
I've got 3 words for you: toothless, stone cold.
Yeah.
When he does the Gene Okerlund voice when he's talking about when he had to face Kane for the first time. So creepily spot on. Like he does such a good Gene Okerlund. It's weird.
And they have some of the best fucking road stories. Oh my god.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you've seen what was the pay-per-views that the Good Brothers put on there in the COVID era? They did their own thing. But I mean, so much of that came out of Talking Shop. Sex Ferguson and Chad Too Bad, just these fucking ridiculous characters and gimmicks that they came up with on a podcast, and they brought them to life on a pay-per-view.
The WWE allowed them to do that a little bit with that fake Southern wrestling promotion on the network.
Yep. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Was
they did Southpaw. Yep.
Yeah, Southpaw.
Which was also great. Yes. Yep.
Hey, you know what? I'm so glad you guys brought that up because I want to talk about. Like, you talk about unique episodes. Like, what about, like, I think they usually do this typically in November where Impact goes, like, retro and they do, like, an 80s theme show and they completely take everybody on the roster and give them, like, 80s gimmicks. That's, like, 80s wrestling. It's fucking amazing. Oh, it's so fucking good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, and I think they still do that today, or at least I hope they do. Like, I feel like they did it last year. Like, if not, they need to bring it back. Scott, listen to us, buddy.
They had an era of pay-per-views too that they did a little bit before this era, but it was their one night only pay-per-views where they would do like tournaments or like tag matches.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Bring back like old timers from TNA. It's just like, oh, we haven't seen so and so in forever.
A knockout who had a good run, who's not around anymore in the last 4 years too. They talked about Sue Young.
Oh, yes, the Undead Bride, yes. And then seeing
creeped me out.
her character changed to oh fuck, what was it? The
To Susie.
yes, yeah, that was
She,
very
she
interesting.
was Sue Young, then she was Susie, and then she was a Karen character named Susan.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I believe she had a kid. I believe didn't her and Rich Swann have a kid?
Yeah,
Yes.
because she's
Yeah.
married to Rich Swann.
Yes,
Yeah.
and hey, that's a guy we haven't mentioned yet.
Another
Rich
one,
Swann.
yeah, who had a reemergence of his
Yeah, another
career.
guy who had a resurgence there in Impact. Yeah.
Yeah, former X Division, former Impact World Champion. Yeah.
He is
Oh.
another one. If you don't know his life story, deserves everything in the fucking world.
I don't know if I'm familiar with his backstory. What was where'd he come from?
So Rich Swann grew up in DC, Baltimore, Maryland area. Lost both his parents by the time he was 12. Grew up, he had to live on his own on the streets. And was in and out of juvie. And then found wrestling at 18, and that's when he started training.
Really?
His mom died of cancer, and his dad died of an overdose.
Holy shit!
By the time he was 12.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, he's had a
Let's
hell of a run.
not talk about why he got fired from WWE though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need to
Yeah.
talk about that. But
Or-
yeah. Oh,
Or the Dirty Dango. That
yeah,
man is living it up right now.
yeah. He has worked. Is he
I
still
would
working
really
there?
enjoy Dango's current gimmick a lot more if he was not called Dirty Dango.
Dirty Dango is a wild name.
Dirty Dango,
It
Johnny
is.
Swinger, it
Actually, you
needs
know
to
what?
happen.
You know who had an amazing career resurgence and impact, and we're seeing the results of it now? Morrissey, Big Bill.
Yeah.
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 Yes, that's facts.
I wish he was still going by Morrissey. I do not like fucking Big Bill.
I
think
do
that's one
too.
of the
Big Bill
stupidest
is the
things.
dumbest name. I am a big fan of his since he has gotten clean. I always, you know what I do, fellas? You know, when I'm trying to figure out whether a name is good for a pro wrestler or not, I imagine it announced as world champion. Now, can you actually hear in your head your new AEW world champion, Big Bill?
No.
No,
No.
God, nowadays, maybe in
The
1984.
dumb name.
Oh yeah. You go back. To
Yeah,
the 80s,
yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, it's Big Bill. He's going. Oh my God, what's
But man,
doing
he had
for
a
the
great run there
Dog?
and really proved himself again.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Like you said, cleaned up, and yeah, it was great to see his resurgence. You know, hey, you know, another team that kind of came through during the pandemic era, and we were so blessed to actually get to see these guys win their first and only Impact World Tag Team titles. Let's talk about the Briscoe brothers. Briscoe's
Oh,
had a little
yeah.
bit of a run there in Impact Wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk. One of the great fucking moments during this time too. Remember the rivalry with the Good Brothers and the
Yep.
fight on the fucking chicken farm?
Yep, when we were talking about the Good Brothers earlier, that's exactly what I was thinking of.
I forgot about the chicken farm fight.
Yeah,
Oh, knees to the back. That hurt.
such good stuff, man. But man, those guys. Yeah, it was great to see the Briscoes go to another promotion and win the tag team titles. Let me ask you guys this: we've talked about some factions. We're talking about present day. What are your thoughts on the design?
I love the design.
My
I
whole
enjoyed
thing with the design, so I really enjoyed Violent by Design.
Yes.
I enjoyed Violent by Design more, and I think it's because at this point, when we're talking about the design, like I feel like we don't really know what the design is anymore. You know, Violent by Design, we kind of got it. It was more culty with, you know, Eric Young kind of using them, you know, to do his bidding. But now we've got the design and we just don't really, what is this gimmick? It's not as culty as Violent by Design felt. They just don't feel like they have much of a purpose compared to the previous version in Violent by Design.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, it's like the story, like, because I'm right there with Hambone. I enjoyed Violent by Design a lot more than this. And if they would have went more into, like, right into the dissension, like within the group, because I like what I do like this, like, the dissension that is brewing currently, but like it's just like this. It like almost took too long to get to that like I kind of stopped caring, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's ran its course essentially. And I feel like it's like, okay,
Yeah.
now we're done of it, just be over. Kind of like right now, the same way I feel in the WWE about Damage Control. That shit should be over and done with.
Oh, I didn't even know they were still together.
I feel like that storyline that's gonna happen here soon with with Io Sky winning that belt, that case.
Oh yeah.
That's
gonna end real soon. I think.
That is one
Goddamn
group.
fun.
They started so hot and then it went to they were good for a while and then it went to a crash and burn.
Yeah.
Injuries and bad booking, all the stuff.
So I think one of the current brightest stars of Impact that we need to talk about that we haven't talked about yet is Joe Hendry.
Thank you.
I believe in Joe Hendry.
Hambone, are you sure you're not watching it right now?
Joe Hendry is a future Impact World Champion.
Preach.
Are you sure you're not watching right now? Because he literally popped up on TV.
I'm not watching right now, but I fucking love Joe Hendry. Joe, if you're asking me, like I said earlier, Speedball, probably my favorite guy in Impact, and right underneath him is Joe Hendry for me.
It was just the timing because he's literally on the mic in the ring right now. And I was just like, that was great timing.
I felt his presence. You know why I felt his presence, Wheels? Because I believe in Joe Hendry.
I love Joe Hendry.
Yeah, you know who I thought you were gonna say though, and I don't argue with Joe Hendry because he's amazing, but I thought you were gonna bring up the quintessential diva.
Oh yeah.
Let's
talk about our girl.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about our girl, Giselle Shaw, along with our good close personal friend, whom we did do an interview with, one Jay Fidel. I love that group, and with Savannah as well. Oh my gosh, it's such a good.
I was shocked to realize that she is dating Scott D'Amore.
Right? Like it's like, damn, Scott. Like how you know?
And it's been a while too. Like,
yeah.
I was shocked to find out that she was trans. I knew they were dating. I didn't know she was trans.
Yeah, but she's had a fucking awesome run, man.
She has.
Awesome run. I feel like she's one of those two. I've enjoyed watching the run, and I'm gonna really enjoy and savor the moment when she wins that Knockouts championship.
Yes.
Like I feel like you don't get that a whole lot as much nowadays in wrestling because everybody's like, I want now. But when you get that that huge moment, especially for somebody as like her who. You guys have correct me if I'm wrong here, but I don't recall her ever really holding a major world championship. I mean, I'm sure on the Indies or something, but once she wins that Knockouts title, oh my gosh, it's gonna be fucking great. And the same can go for our boy Jay Fidel as well, future X Division champion. Just saying. But yeah, I love their group, man. I think they have such great chemistry. They're killing it right now, and like, don't be surprised if Giselle Shaw is your next Knockouts champion.
Her versus Trinity would be fire.
Well, it'd be great. I would fucking love to see that.
Her versus Deanna would be great again too.
Yeah, but could you imagine this? Let's say Trinity wins that title, right, and Giselle's the one who takes the title off of her. Like, how huge of a moment that will be for Giselle?
Amazing.
I'm calling it. Book it for Bound for Glory if we in fact get a Trinity win Saturday night.
Holy crap! When is Bound for Glory? That kind of closes. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I could see that. That's a big. That would probably main event.
Yeah.
I'd love that. Hey, let's talk about we've talked about so many these different divisions and stuff. What do you guys think about the current landscape with the X division? I see some pauses.
I think the X division is in. Again, we're talking. We've talked about like transitional periods, and I feel like that's kind of where the X division is now, especially because I feel like they were really going to start centering the X division around Speedball, but then he had that match with Josh Alexander, and I feel like the fan perception of him kind of changed after that, to where fans were starting to look at him as, oh, this guy could probably actually be world champion. It's probably a little bit bigger than the X division right now. So I feel like they're in a rebuilding phase with the X division right now.
Yeah.
I like that Jonathan Gresham is in it, though. I think Jonathan Gresham would be a perfect person to put that title on and let him have a long reign with it.
Yes.
I agree.
But
I will say, Jonathan Gresham walking out on the AEW / Ring of Honor was probably the best thing his career could have done, because I love him in Impact.
Yeah, his last match was one of his better matches, especially when he didn't come out with the whole garb, and it was just him mad as fuck and then wrestling a clinic with Claudio.
Yeah.
Like, this is pretty fucking good. Like, that was the first time I was introduced to him on a grand scale that wasn't just indies. So, like, getting it and then seeing everything, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely a fan. And now seeing with all the, the
squid, yeah.
I think one of the other reasons that the X division is kind of in a rebuilding phase right now, too, is because for a very long time, they were kind of centering the X division on Ace Austin and Chris Bay, who now have been taken out of the X division and put into the tag team division.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's a phenomenal tag team.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's another name we have yet to mention here tonight as well. Ace Austin
is phenomenal.
Yeah, and yeah, both those guys are amazing. I love them both. And both excellent, phenomenal wrestlers, but somehow even better as a tag team. Would you say?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
I personally prefer Chris Bay as a singles wrestler. I think that Chris has very, very big potential as a singles guy, personally, but that's just my opinion.
I agree. I think both him and Austin have tremendous upside. Hey, another guy we got to talk about in the current roster as well, and I love this guy so fucking much because this guy is fucking immortal. And he just keeps going to different companies, and it's like they kind of don't use him at first, and then they are like, holy fuck, we've got like a treasure on our hand. Let's talk about fucking PCO, man. Like PCO is
crazy
the fucking man. Like, how is he still doing the shit he is doing at like what, damn near 60?
Yeah,
it's got to be a lot of the white stuff. There's got to be something.
Yeah, man. They just fucking make them French Canadians. They're just tough as shit, man.
Yeah, especially, what was it? His spot, I think it's Slammiversary, where they took like the mat and the canvas and everything, and he like just straight wood, and then the other spot where he went through shit. Like, no, man. Like, you're AARP, homie. Like, you can't do this.
I always gravitate towards that one episode of Impact where he fucking pops his shoulder back in. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah. I don't know why he does that. He does it all the time. It's creepy.
Yeah. When he said AARP, though, I went back.
Can I talk about somebody who is on the current Impact roster who is barely being used, who I think has huge potential, and that is Zicky Dice. If you watched NWA Power back when it was good, Zicky Dice was on there, and he is extremely entertaining. He's decent in the ring. He's paired with Johnny Swinger right now, which, I talked about earlier, how much I love Johnny Swinger, but they're just kind of doing a comedy thing with them right now. I don't even know the last time he actually wrestled. And I think that he could be used in a much bigger capacity for them with what he showed me back in his NWA run.
Yeah, that's a very valid point too. He did have a fun time. Like he's just a fun character in general, man. Like, and the thing is, what I love about him is like he's like the whole gimmick is funny and stuff, but when you get him in the ring, man, it's like he's fun to watch. He is really fucking fun to watch. Like, don't sleep on him.
Yeah, they're definitely underusing him because he did not like an image of him didn't pop in my head. I had to
think about who Ziggy Dice was too
Yeah.
for a second. But
Oh, he's so good though.
But like the current roster is just it's great right now. It's what got the healthiest it's been.
Another guy who in Impact right now who has had a resurgence over the last couple of years in his career, Kenny King.
I didn't hear you, buddy. What'd you say?
Kenny King.
Oh, Kenny King. Yeah, Kenny King's starting to kind of come back around too.
Like he's got this feud with Joe Hendry right now, which has been phenomenal. Well, we're talking about a guy who's been wrestling since the early 2000s. First time I've ever seen him was on the first season of Tough Enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was he on Tough Enough? I don't even remember that.
He was on Tough Enough.
Yeah, he was.
Yes. Have we talked
a guy
about
who's been wrestling for a very long time and still can go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Isn't it kind of funny how the most successful people who were on Tough Enough were people who didn't actually win it?
That part, yes.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and remember too,
except
also,
for Johnny Nitro.
Yeah, he probably is the most successful winner, I think you could say, is him.
Yeah.
But like, folks, if like it was said all night here, if you're not watching Impact Wrestling, if you're sleeping on it, like wake the fuck up and start watching you some Impact Wrestling, which you can catch every Thursday. I think we talked about this last week too. You can literally watch this on YouTube and like you pay $1 a month or something, I think.
Yeah, it's like
$1 a month.
It's like, are you kidding me?
And that will get you their weekly. You can watch the weekly episode.
Or you can pay $9.99 to get access to the entire Impact library, which was fucking massive.
Yeah.
But as we're kind of coming down to the close here of our discussion on the history of Impact Wrestling, it's that age-old question I want to ask you, gentlemen, and that is this. I want your Mount Rushmore of Impact Wrestling superstars.
Ooh.
Yes, of all time. Of all time!
I like we
This
going
is
back.
TNA / Impact?
You're choosing fighting words.
Or are we
right
just
there.
doing the Impact era?
We're doing the entire company's history.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know it's kind of a dickhead question.
Okay, we can like there's a number one, pretty much. AJ Styles is on everyone's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd agree with that. I'm gonna say my 4. I'm gonna go with who I feel were most important. So AJ's definitely on there. You can't not say Jeff Jarrett because there would not be an Impact without. Then I would say.
Uh-oh, Hambone, you're cutting out there, dude. Oh no.
I think you said.
Can you hear me?
Ang-
Can you hear me
Okay,
now?
I can now. We didn't hear you. You said Jeff Jarrett. We didn't hear who your next one was.
Okay. Jeff Jarrett, Kurt Angle, and Sting.
It's so funny. It's so fucking funny you said that. I should have went first, damn it. That's my exact 4. That is my exact 4. It's AJ Styles, Jeff Jarrett, Kurt Angle, and Sting. They're by far the most 4 important wrestlers in the history of Impact. Because you got to look at it this way. AJ Styles is the homegrown talent. There's no doubt about that. Like I said last week, when you say AJ Styles, you assign him to a home promotion. It's Impact. Jeff Jarrett, you cannot discount. I mean, the guy pretty much fucking brought TNA into its infancy. Can't deny that, whether you love him or hate him. Sting has to be on here because, I mean, Sting could have easily said, fuck it, and go to the WWE, and he did not. And, I mean, he really, like, helped TNA throughout the years. He gave them, like, legitimacy. And also, you got to mention Kurt Angle for giving them legitimacy as well, because Kurt Angle was that big name that made the jump to Impact Wrestling and really was like, you know what? This is a huge alternative to WWE's product.
Yeah.
All right.
Honestly, that was. So it was AJ and Kurt were like the two that's like, okay, those are immediates. And I get the argument for Jeff Jarrett, and I feel like Sting has to be on there too.
Yeah.
I would almost, which I guess we can let Spicy and Michael go too, but after that, like thinking of like honorable mentions of like there, because I think that's probably the four. When you think the most impactful, pun intended.
You know who I would have as like my very first runner up? And I'm like straight up dead ass, and I think everybody will agree. Gail Kim. Like I almost put Gail Kim on this list because I mean, fucking my gosh, the stuff she's done for the knockouts.
Yeah.
But Michael, I want to hear you, buddy. What is your Impact Wrestling Mount Rushmore?
Jeff Jarrett. Then I would go Raven.
Oh.
Then I would go Kurt Angle, and then I would go Sting.
So no AJ.
Oh no, take Sting out and put AJ.
Okay.
Yeah.
I find it interesting you got Raven on there, but Raven's a guy we talked about last week too, who should get a lot of credit.
He was that first big name. Yes, Christian and Angle were bigger, but if it wasn't for Raven doing that first jump in 2002, and showing people that you can make that jump, there is an alternative here.
Yeah.
I don't think the rest follow years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Raven's definitely like right after the Mount Rushmore. He's honorable mention.
Right, I agree with that. I wholeheartedly agree with that. Another guy too, I'd say is an honorable mention, and hey, it may be on Spicy's list, so I won't spoil it just yet. But Spicy, let's hear your Mount Rushmore of Impact Wrestling.
This is all left field because I'm going back
when Spicy does this.
to when I thoroughly enjoyed TNA when it was still NWA TNA. So I'm going Elix Skipper.
Oh,
because he was prime time, baby.
That moment too.
David Young. Yes, that put TNA on the map, and that put a whole lot of eyes on it. David Young was the master of the spine. The master of the spine buster. He had one of the best losing streaks, and when he won, same pop, just like Kurt Hawkins or
David
Brian
Young.
Myers.
We didn't even talk about him last week. Holy shit! I didn't even think about him until you said something.
200 plus of just straight losing, and when he finally won, the Impact Asylum was just gravy. Shark Boy, because that was one of the things that you didn't get to see, and my personal favorite, D-Ray 3000.
Oh my god!
I love when Spicy throws these curveballs.
That's an amazing list.
This is why me and Spicy are friends, because he does this crazy shit, and it pops me every time.
Chef's fucking kiss to you, sir. Like those are all great fucking names.
I think. Let me guess who your honorable mention was, though. XLJ.
You probably know.
Abyss.
I was thinking too. Abyss was one. Actually, now that I think about it out loud, 3. Fuck, there's just so many. Abyss.
It really is, yeah.
Christopher Daniels. And the other one that just hit me after you said Abyss, Samoa Joe. But I think of Joe more so for Ring of Honor, obviously, but still.
Yeah.
But Abyss, Abyss was definitely going to be another one I was going to say.
Yeah, and it's also
another original.
It can be hard to separate what they did in Impact versus like their career overall. But yeah.
But Impact Wrestling, like we said, folks, if we haven't convinced you over these past couple of weeks to watch it, I don't know what the hell else we got to do.
And
I mean, you can't see it, but I finally go ahead and say it. My nipples are rock fucking hard, like Juice Robinson right now. Just saying, just talking Impact Wrestling.
I want
to
say this about Impact. My favorite thing about Impact is that Impact is not afraid to be the first to do anything.
Facts.
That is the best
Yes.
quality about
Impact is not afraid to take risks that other companies would not creatively.
Like killing off the wrestlers.
Yes.
Even more so than that.
Or how about spotlighting, and oh my God, now I'm drawing a brain fart. Michael knows who he is, but how about bringing on like a 70-plus-year-old man and like, what the fuck's his name?
Fucking Mike Jackson?
Mike Jackson, thank you. Like Mike.
Why would you say
Mike Jackson is the shit? I love when Mike Jackson is on.
You know, because you're the encyclopedia. You know everybody.
That's true. So. I fucking love Mike Jackson also.
Yes. Like, if you can put a fucking 70-year-old Fern Gagne-looking motherfucker on your TV, like, hey, man, all the
that motherfucker's got more charisma than Fern Gagne.
Mike Jackson puts on, when he is on, he puts on matches that rivals men much younger than him.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's
true.
It's crazy.
Not a lie was spoken.
It's been a blast talking about Impact Wrestling with you all tonight. And like I say, like, don't sleep on it. Get ready for Slammiversary this weekend. It's going to be an awesome show. I know that we've got a ton of wrestling this Saturday.
Therefore, I watch all of my recaps of TNA and Impact on Pluto.
I see how it is. Well, don't be like Spicy. We love you, buddy. But go buy the pay-per-view this Saturday. It's going to be well worth it. And I know there's a fuck ton of wrestling going on this weekend. You got Triple A's Triple Mania. You got the kickoff of the G1 Climax. You got Collision with the finals of the Owen Hart Tournament, Battle of the Belts. All that's on Saturday. But seriously, I think the show that we're going to be talking about first and foremost is going to be Slammiversary. Well, as we've come down to the end, and as we always do here on Learning the Ropes, it's time for one last Plug-a-Palooza. And Spicy, we're going to start with you, my friend. Where can people find the Spicy Guac? Like, is it on aisle 3 in the grocery aisle? Where you at, brother?
It's the phone. There's so much impact. So much.
Can you hear me?
Oh, coming for me.
Oh, I hear a helicopter. Look, they're watching you from above, man, because all the spiciness, all the spicy goodness. Where can we find you, though?
I mentioned D-Ray 3000 one time.
Where can we find you on the TikToks? Can we find you on the Instagram?
Find me on the TikTok.
You can find him here, there, and everywhere. See, he's looking around. He's just like, yeah, I'm everywhere. I'm fucking everywhere, brother. The Spicy Guac is there.
Little worried about it, but no, you can catch the spiciest of spicy guacamoles on the TikTok. You can catch me doing the little in-ring stuff, here, there, and everywhere. So I'm gonna open up the bookings a little bit more. But other than that, if you're not on the TikToks, then you might catch me on that Threads, baby. Just follow the name, and we'll see what's going down.
Damn straight, my friend. All right, Michael, tell us where we can find you, brother.
MJDuplessis 1992 on TikTok. That's all.
That's all. And let's talk about you, you sexy beast, you Hambone. Where can we find you, brother?
You can find me on Twitter at notorious_bone. You can find me on Instagram and Threads under my shoot name, Thomas.Cummings920. And you can find me on the TikToks right there. Hambone, couple A's, couple O's, you fucking marks.
Fucking marks. I love it, brother. And hey, as we said earlier tonight, we got a lot coming up here on Cold TV. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 Pacific, for our Slammiversary prediction show, where we are joined by one Hambone as well as the Ginger Ninja himself, Jaxpo, and we give you our thoughts going into Slammiversary this Saturday night. And don't forget, next week, check out a brand new episode of Pro Wrestling 60, as well as we've got brand new episodes of The Hunt, and I'm your Huckleberry. And hey, tune in here next Thursday as well, where we got a brand new episode of Learning the Ropes where we're going to start doing a deep dive on the history of SummerSlam, as SummerSlam is just a mere 3 weeks away, boys. It's crazy to think it's almost here. But, gentlemen, we want to thank you so much for joining us here tonight on Learning the Ropes. Mr. B-Roll, you want to take us out, my friend?
It is time for us to bid you adieu. If you have not hit that subscribe button, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And you know what? Share this. Share it with the world. Share it on Facebook. Share it on MySpace. I don't care. Whatever social media platform you still use. Tell your neighbor. Go knock on their door right now, and just tell them. Tell them to subscribe.
Damn right.
And with that being said,
there we go.
We'll catch you later, Gators.